Good morning, traders and investors. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, a good start to the Monday here. Triple D and I got a good show planned for y'all. The weekend trade working well, buying the dip, running rampant here. We considered a title something like They Came, They Saw, and They Bought, but instead we went with everybody winning on the weekend. We do have some updates on the government shutdown front. PreMarket right now showing over a 90% chance that the government shutdown will be ended by this week, by the end of this week. Momo's continuing here on some of that. Did we have a little Trump pump over the weekend? He talked about $2,000 stimulus checks for people when he was for citizens when he was asked about tariffs. Let's see what's going on that front. Trump also moving the health names: CVS, UNH, CNC, Oscar. He told Senate Republicans to send federal health insurance money directly to the people. We'll get into a couple earnings coming up this week to get on your radar. A couple corporate news items, including Pfizer. Looks like it is going to pick up Metsura MTSR. Few ratings in the background if we need them a little bit later in the session. Our guest at 8:35 a.m. Hot Stocks Luke Jacobe will be joining Triple D and I. Let's get going here on Monday morning on Pre-Market Prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
All right, folks, I'm going to do my best impersonation of Joel here. Joel gallivanting around Florida while Triple D and I are getting snowed on in the north. Wow. Nice how do you do there from Joel. Thanks, Joel. S&P 500
Speaking of
futures here.
snow, I'm going to interrupt
Yeah.
you. Speaking of
What do you
snow,
got?
I went through my first snowstorm of the weekend of the winter, and it wasn't fun. And the funny thing is, I'm up here in North Georgian Bay. No snow at all up here, but I was down in Waterloo, Kitchener-Waterloo, for my daughter's hockey tournament, and they got dumped on.
Get
So I'm
snowed?
starting to wonder
Yeah.
if it's just me. Maybe
The
it's just
snow is
me because
following you
I've
around?
never seen that before where I go actually 2 hours south of me and I get dumped on, and 2 hours north, not a flake to be seen. So my car is up here covered with snow because it is
Yeah.
cold up here. I'm the only snow up here in my area right now. It is all over my car from being out, obviously, in a snowstorm. So driving very slow. Didn't have the snow tires on yet, which is always scary. Lots of people didn't. That's why everybody's driving slow, because when it comes this
Yeah.
early, you're just not prepped. And we knew it was coming too. It's funny. And then I call around trying to get snow tires on, but everybody's doing the same thing, so you
Oh,
can't get
yeah.
them on that quick. So next year, you got to get them on in October around
Oh,
here.
my
Canada.
gosh.
I know. You got your snow tires on yet?
I don't get snow tires in
You're down
Detroit,
in the D. It's like
but
too
maybe I
nice down
should.
there. Yeah, you got all
Maybe.
season? All season
Yeah.
tires? All
Yeah.
seasons will do it. Not up here,
Yeah.
but down there it'll do it.
It is like a winter wonderland in Detroit today. It snowed literally the entire day
Oh,
yesterday.
so you got some snow too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much
Nothing.
accumulation,
Nothing up
but
here.
yeah. How else was your weekend?
No, it's good. The daughter won the last couple games, so it was
Nice.
good. It's always fun watching hockey. I like hockey, and I also went to the Toronto Sports Card Expo, which was fun there too.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's at the
yeah.
International Center. So there's lots going on, lots of fun things. So, but we are back and raring to go here. Joel is away, but we've got me and the Brentster and Hot Stocks Luke going to be coming on. So I'm going to let you. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
interrupted your
Oh,
rundown
no, it's
here.
fun.
Give us
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rundown again. I just
Cool.
wanted to talk the snow for a second. And
No,
the
all
Canada
good.
geese are gone, Gerald. They are gone. I don't see any here. So I think they have officially left for the winter. They're sent to Kentucky.
See ya next year, Goose.
Yeah, gone. They're now
S-
American geese.
S&P 5. Oh, thanks. S&P 500 futures here trading up substantially, just under 8%, about 62 points around the 68.15 level. While that 6,700 level from last week, even the 66.50 level from last week, looks like it is pretty far away here. Let's take a quick look at the SPY here. SPY trading around 677. Let's do the Qs just real quickly here around 619. Take a real quick look at gold. Gold trading back over the 4,000 level here, decidedly over the 4,000 level, up about 2.5%, over $100 per ounce. Gold last trading around the 4,115 level. Let's do crude oil here real quickly. Crude oil trading just over the $60 per barrel level. And one more here before we start on our merry way into news items from over the weekend and getting you set up for the week. Bitcoin trading up about 2.5% back over the $106,000 level. That was our rundown. I don't have my TradeStation charts up, so I can't say that this is brought to you by TradeStation, but
That'll be back tomorrow here
it will be
because
back tomorrow.
Joel's the one that runs trade stations. We're going to blame Joel for that one.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but tomorrow we will be back with trade station charts. That was news on our part. So, anyways, coming back up here, the weekend. The weekend trade works again, but not only the weekend, the buy the dip. So they went back last week to the holy grail of trades, and that is BTFD, buy the blank dip, and it came in Friday morning, basically when I left to go to the hockey tournament,
Of
and they
course.
just never stopped buying. Like, so around 11 o'clock, we bought them. Actually, around 12 o'clock, we bought them the SPY around 661 and 670, 670, 677. So think about what we just did in less than a full day of trading here. Like, obviously, we don't include the pre-market, don't include the after hours, don't include the overnight session, just intraday. I mean, what an intraday rally on Friday in the afternoon, and then what an overnight rally here. And you could just kiss all the losses goodbye. Bears back to your caves immediately, bought back up, and the Trump pump helps over the weekend here. The Trump pump was prevalent, obviously, in multiple cases. Brentster, do you want to tell us about it? Because not only government shutdown, but also potential stimulus checks. I mean, Trump pump is out there.
That's what we heard. So the stimulus checks thing. So Trump was answering some questions on tariffs and all of this, tariff commotion, and kind of like his response, his go-to was, "Well, we can give two grand out to citizens," and you hit the phrase, I think, right on the head, the stimulus checks. We haven't heard about stimulus checks in quite some time, but it's something we were very familiar with a few years ago in COVID. So that definitely helped there. And then just getting some developments on the government shutdown front certainly helped. On the downside, we did have Trump making a comment. He told Senate Republicans to send federal health insurance money, quote, directly to the people. If we have the Trump pump mentioning, stimulus checks here, and we're getting some favorable sentiment on the government shutdown. One thing that didn't go so well over the weekend was some of these healthcare names moving pretty sharply lower on that comment that Trump said to send federal health insurance money directly to the people. We can get to that in just a sec here. Where do you want to start for some of these Trump?
Well, breakdown. Let's go into the government shutdown here just
Okay.
for a second. So we'll get the politics out of the way, and then we're getting into stock talk. So don't worry,
Okay.
we're getting into some charts here. But go to PreMarket. Do you have the odds? Like, because it sounds like we're gonna get a deal. It sounds like it's imminent. It's a main reason why the market is up here significantly this morning.
For sure.
You knew eventually it was going to end. They didn't really sell off when it went down, and you knew you'd get this government shutdown pop when it eventually ends. So where are we now in PreMarket?
Okay, so the comment here, the Senate late Sunday, I'm reading from a WICA article. The Senate late Sunday cleared a critical procedural hurdle in its drive to end the record-long government shutdown after Democrats provided enough votes to advance a measure designed to end the more than month-long impasse. The vote was 60-40 on a measure to take up House passed spending legislation. It will now go to House Republicans browsing over to PreMarket, which has been a really good source for us in trying to understand expectations. We are now looking at the top line there, November 15th, government shutdown ending by the 15th, 94%, 99% by the end of this month.
Wow.
Last week, we were around 55% for I think the end of the month, even not this week. I think the
with
end
a
of the month
commentary over the
even was
weekend
very
here.
low. Yeah. So this is quite an improvement on the government shutdown front.
I don't know. That 0.7 cents doesn't sound that bad. November 30th. Maybe we should go to PreMarket and just take a lottery ticket. But
There you go,
I think it
Triple
is going to
D.
be. I think it's going to end. It sounds like it's going to end It seems to be that it's going to end here. And I mean, with the travel over the weekend, I heard over 10,000 flights were canceled.
Oh,
It
dang.
was just kind of a mess here. Imagine that going over the Thanksgiving weekend. They can't have that happen. So
I
it's going to
think
end
not.
here before Thanksgiving weekend. And I think it probably PreMarket's going to end up being right, and it's going to end this week. So we get the pop on the rumor it's going to end. We'll probably pop on the actual ending as well. So, these are catalysts, for the market to go higher.
Sure.
So it's always hard to, be fading when positive catalysts. And then you have Trump tweeting out, truthing out, he likes to call it Truth Social, about potentially a $2,000 tariff check to every U.S. citizen except for the rich ones. So, I mean, that's a catalyst in itself, too. We saw what happened when they did the stimmy checks back in COVID. The stock market exploded because a lot of that money goes straight into like crypto and goes into the markets. So it's not surprising that we see, the markets trading higher, but Bitcoin especially trading higher here this morning. Ethereum also trading up 4.34% if we're looking at the ETF, ETHE. So, I mean, that's not surprising too. Now, Besson did walk these comments back. We know Trump gets excited and he's throwing out and is like, yeah. And again, it makes sense. Like, let's just stop and just keep with politics talk for two minutes here.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Like, think Trump's trying to win, the battle with Supreme Court over tariffs. Well, if he can get the U.S. citizens behind him and saying, hey, you guys are going to get checks here, that's going to make a lot of people like tariffs a lot more. One thing, when you get a tariff check in the mail, a lot of people are going to turn around and start liking tariffs. So it's kind of smart by him and strategic by him to start saying stuff like this so that he can win this battle and keep the tariffs obviously in. Besson's saying, just walking back the comment, saying it may be in the form of a tax cut, it may be in other forms, or it may not just be a check. But I think Trump's going to push for that. So we'll see where that goes. But if he actually gets these $2,000 tariff checks to every U.S. citizen, it's going to be a catalyst probably for Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto and the stock market in itself. So we'll see where that goes. Right now, that is just rumors here, though, as well. Inflation, yeah, we know inflation, but this next administration or this next Fed official and the Fed is not going to be as nearly concerned about inflation as the last ones here, because this is Trump and going to be appointed, and they're more concerned about, obviously, jobs is the main prior concern here. But we know that CPI data is somewhat cooked anyways.
Yeah.
So even if you do start seeing some inflation, they'll just cook it more. So I'm not saying that's a Trump thing. That's been a forever thing. The CPI data is totally cooked. So.
And just to say it, just to give our little beginning of the week update here, I looked at the CME FedWatch tool to see how Fed Fund futures bettors were pricing in the odds for another rate cut in December, and it hasn't really changed. We're still around like 35% that there will be no rate cut in December. That's kind of where it was last week.
Let's go to the stocks themselves, and let's just go into every stock that was getting bought relentlessly on Friday afternoon. And it was a lot of the Momo names, the ones that were really beat up. It started with MP Materials, and we pointed this out in the STN room at 10 a.m. And I said, look at MP Materials, which is a Momo name, and it's been going down and down and down and down and down for the entire month of October and the beginning of November. Talking about a stock went from $100 to $50. I did take a position in MP. I was a little bit early because I bought it at $56 last week. So it was like, eventually you're going to have a violent reversal here because it's just massively oversold. And can momentum come back into these names? Is the rarer story over? I don't think so. So I think, I was taking advantage. I put some in the long-term portfolio because I believe it's on sale. Well, it had the earnings report. They didn't like it, and the stock was down another $3 or $4. But in the pre-market, it started to show life, down 47, 48, 49. And then she opened, and they bought it right from the opening bell, really. If we're looking at the charts themselves, the low actually in the open was the actual low tick. It opened at 50.50.
Sure.
It opened at its low of the day, and then they started buying. And that's when we pointed it out around 9. Actually, it was 9:40 because I left at 9:45. We pointed out, I'm like, just be careful being short this market here, because we are seeing buyers starting to come into some of these Momo names, like MP Materials. So that's what I was saying to the STNers. I was like, I think I'd actually be buying this dip. So it's funny how markets change and sentiment changes.
Yeah.
We do pre-market prep, and it looks like it's just 8 to 9, and the market looks like a mess. But then it opens, and sometimes you get the real money, the institutional money voting, and that's big dollars coming in. Like retail drives price overnight. Write this down right now. Retail drives price overnight, but you still have institutional money that drives price intraday. So that's why so often things change at 9:30. because a lot of those institutional traders aren't sitting there. I mean, just imagine, you got your family, you're working somebody else. You're not sitting there overnight and trying to trade Robinhood on Robinhood and all these other things. And again, they're bigger players. They're moving big money in and out. You can't move big money in and out on a lot of these stocks after hours in pre-market. So a lot of these institutional money managers don't start trading until 9:30. 9:30, they came with their buy the dip shoes on and they voted.
Yep.
And we can still say retail can move price. They absolutely move it all the time on a lot of names. They absolutely move price overnight. They absolutely move price pre-market after hours. And they can move price intraday too. But the big money, institutional money, still moves price. And they came in and started buying at 9:30. And again, we had a little sell-off after that, but you could see it in the Momo names. Bring up another one, NBIS, which is going to report here on Tuesday. That stock, we talked about this one, the $100 level. It came down here. I know Mike got a great trade on it. 101.26, the lows. Just, after it was, but again, shortly after the open, 9:42, started to get bought. It did dip back after that, but then it's been bought relentlessly since. So, the momentum names started coming in and institutional money managers started coming in and buying. So it matters, folks. Like intraday really price can change instantaneously. And that's what we kind of started seeing at around 9:45 Friday morning. And then it did dip afterwards, but the dip was bought. And then the afternoon, everybody got on board, not just institutional money managers, retail, everybody was coming in and saying, hey, we just saw, a good, this is a great chance to buy the dip. And they did. And they've continued to buy that dip overnight. Now, have they overshot? Well, I've never made a lot of money buying stocks after we just rallied, 150 S&P handles in less than a 24-hour period. But, do you buy the dip back on the radar? It's worked all year. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Short the rip, buy the dip. It's been the trade. I mean, overall in the markets, yes, there's been stocks that's been relentlessly higher and you've made money by chasing. But there's so many other stocks that have just kind of been chopping around a lot. And we saw, periods which stocks chop around for months. I mean, Tesla, even in itself. Look at the Tesla, September, October. We are basically just been shopping around here for the last 2.5 months with a big move in the middle of September. For the last 45 days, we've just been chopping around a lot. And then if you go before that, Brent, yeah, you're pointing it out. I mean, if you go back into the weeklies and look at Tesla, how much chop between April and September? All kinds of it there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously the big run up in April, but May, June, July, August, September, October, Tesla just chopping around. What does that mean? Chop the fade trade, where you're actually selling rips and buying dips. If you're buying rips and selling dips in 2025, you're probably not making that much money or losing money.
Something that we say often, and just to say the obvious here, is that these laggards, the leading laggards, the stocks that went the lowest first in this pullback recently, they were the ones that were leading us higher here, like the rare earth names and the nuclear names. Quantum didn't really, the quantum chart, Dennis, if you look at like a RGTI, that one looks a little different on Friday, right? Did you make anything? These ones like kept selling off, till midday, till the afternoon, and then
around noon they started buying everything.
Yeah,
and really, we had the pockets of momentum that we could see were getting bought earlier, and then we had the 11 o'clock sell off, and then 12, and they're like, oh no, here we go again. But oh no, we don't. The S&P's turned around obviously around 12 o'clock, and then it wasn't even 12 o'clock. Let's look at the exact time. Well, it was around 12 o'clock. So let's say noon. Right around 12. Yep. The noon turnaround, and. Yep. And then, obviously they went into a lot of other different names too. But I mean, it's funny, there's certain names that are actually moving opposite the market. We've been talking about this value versus growth. So, some of the value names that were really strong, overnight actually showed some weakness in the afternoon. So, some of the banks were trading off the highs a little bit. Burke.B is moving completely inversely correlated with this market right now. You don't have to look any further than today's pre-market action when the whole everything is up and Burke is down. Now, Burke is, just side note, Warren Buffett is officially giving his letter today of his retirement here. So, that might be a thing that's knocking the stock down as well. But I just find it funny, an ETF that holds a bunch of stocks, and Burke is basically an ETF. It's not. It's closed-end fund. But, I mean, a fund that holds a bunch of stocks moves inversely correlated with the market. It's like kind of just crazy, but that's where it's at now. So, but again, back to the Momo trades. I mean, so many of them. RGTI, even the quantum names, they did bounce though, and they have bounced overnight. I mean, it was the same thing. It was 12. So it got down, made a low right around 12 o'clock at 30.90. Now it's at 34. So you're talking about like 34.50. So you're talking about like a 15% pop since that $30 low. Mm-hmm. IONQ, similar story. If you want to go to the leader here, it had a real big pop. At 12 o'clock, we hit 51. By the end of the day, it was 59. Now, I know it's down here this morning, but that's like a 17% pop in the afternoon. They didn't have news. It's just like, this is just where we're at. Like, and obviously reported earnings last week, but I mean, this is like, not intraday news breaking here and a pop 15%. This is like how much underneath demand is there for some of these names here too. Still got the sexy story, may not have the fundamental or valuation support, but when those Momo traders start coming in and they get all antsy in their pantsy, they just start buying and they can't stop themselves.
Before we leave the macro talk and go on to maybe like a couple of earnings previews, maybe a couple other news items, just want to highlight the price action in some of our healthcare names here this morning. CNC, Oscar, THC, HCA Healthcare, Molina Health, United Health, CVS. They all, if you have a movers tool and you look to your down filter, the down filter is just littered with these healthcare names. The comment, we said it a little bit earlier, but Trump told Senate Republicans to send federal health insurance money directly to the people, basically saying like, remove some of these quote middlemen, I guess here, and the whole sector is trading lower on those comments. I'll pull up a chart here. Why don't we do Molina or maybe like an Oscar OSCR?
Yeah, like you think about Molina, you think about UNH because those ones, and they're defensive stocks too. Oscar actually falls into this retail camp, so it falls a
I
little bit
agree.
different. Even although fundamentally it falls under this, there's so much retail love in there. So if I was actually looking to buy a dip here on any of these names, and I'm out of Oscar, I was in it for a while, I actually would look at this Oscar dip. Look at Friday's low, 1590. I'm setting you guys up a trade here. 1590. It's 1620. It might pierce it. They like to undercut and rally in that. But just keep in mind where it opens, maybe it opens around 16, 1610, 1615, then maybe dips a little bit, gets back up over that open. But either way, I think this is one that they might be inclined to buy the dip on because there's a lot of retail traders that really like this name. And you see so many other stocks like, ooh, nice dip in Oscar. I mean, it is the buy the dip crowd there, and you are near Friday's low. So that's one I actually would buy. You get UNH to a certain extent has a lot of retail names too. We know they popped in back in August and September when the stock was really getting beat up, and then obviously Warren Buffett popped it up. But you get to the Molinas, there's no retail interest in that stock whatsoever. The stock's near 52-week lows. CI, nobody gives a crap about CI, CNC. These are the other ones there too. So I think if they're buying any dips here, I think actually it would be Oscar.
Good stuff. Good stuff. You want to go Triple D? You want to go to our M&A for the weekend? You want to go? You want to start going into earnings preview? We got about probably 10 minutes before we're going to get on with
Did we get any earnings here this morning? I know
we got a couple.
Monday.com, which I always find it funny. Monday.com always reports earnings on a Monday.
They do that on purpose. I'm sure
they do for sure. How'd they do?
Let's see. I'm pulling up the earnings right now. $1.16, a beat versus about 90 cents. Sales also beating. The Q4 sales guidance doesn't look so hot. They're expecting sales around 328 to 330 million. Analysts look like they're up over 333 million. So stock trading down. I'm going to pull it up on my chart here in just a sec. Stock trading down about 20%. If I had to guess, I would guess it was on that kind of concerning guidance figure there that we saw.
Joel, if he was here, and Joel, when I first started trading at Bright Trading under Joel Elconin in the Detroit office in May of 1999, Joel he's always focused very much. It started snowing here, by the way, going on a tangent. Just started now. So we started talking about its bad luck.
Did you jinx it, Triple D?
It.
Oh,
I think you jinxed it. Literally, I just looked out. There was not a flake, and now there's all kinds of flakes. So you sent the snow this way. Yep. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming here. Joel told me about the opens and how important they are. And he set up this trade. He's like, when this stock opens, get that opening price. And obviously, a lot of your systems track it. And the stock, if it's got bad earnings and it's gapping down like 20% like Monday is, have the opening price. Let's say, hypothetically, Monday.com opens at 150.
Okay.
He's like, the stock falls to 145, 144, 143. Just let it keep falling. It's okay. Let it keep falling. If it gets back up through that open at 150, that's where you strike because that's where it gets interesting. So you want it to open, maybe dips a little bit, and then starts getting back through because then you're buying into the strength and you're getting a place because the market is so important, like when stocks open, because it's a big liquidity event. A lot of traders are marked because they want to buy it on the open or sell it on the open, and that can. And there's day traders in there too, so it can change sentiment around here. So I would say right now, probably the market isn't buy the dip mentality. There may even be people looking at a Monday.com and saying, "Oh, I want to buy this." I would say don't strike until you open and then you get back up above that opening price. The issue with Monday.com is it's been a perennial dog. It
Yeah.
is not one of these Momo names that everybody's going to be scooping. Like Oscar's kind of, got the retail crowd. You don't
Yep.
see anybody talking about Monday.com. The stock is near its 52-week lows. And when you have a stock making a new 52-week low, which it indeed is doing here today, actually, because the 52-week low is 166, it's trading below there. It's hard to be long stocks making new lows. So I would say maybe there's a day trade in here. I don't think I'm putting this in the long-term investment portfolio anytime soon because a lot better places to be. But I would want to wait until I see where that opening price, and let's show me some strength. Show me that you're looking at dips to buy here today. Show me that this market isn't going to roll over. I mean, you also have the S&P case where, hell, we just ride 150 handles in basically, an afternoon of trading and a pre-market of trading. So, I mean, there could be some people that are saying, man, I just made a lot of money back. I'm going to lighten up into this. So I think, just keeping that in mind here too, I'm probably not coming in here and saying, ooh, what can I buy? But I am looking at dips to buy. Monday.com. I like the Oscar one more than Monday.
It's all about that precedent. The psychological, the technical aspects, creating that precedent, the mark, people focused on it. Maybe they're not like actively using it, but you at least know there's a lot of people that are using that mark for some kind of perspective, some kind of precedent. That's a very important part of trading, folks. Triple D, other earning report here from this morning. Tyson, you want to take a look at Tyson real quick?
Yeah, rip
Or
and
do you,
hire, defensive name, not a sexy name by any means. And when you get these food stocks popping $2, $3, $4 on earnings, they're usually more selling opportunities than they are buying opportunities here.
Mhm.
It's a big move for Tyson. So give me the earnings here, but you're probably going to have trouble selling me on buying this rip.
Earnings were mixed. They missed on the sales figure, but they did beat pretty nicely on the earnings figure. 115. Analysts were down around 80. Company guidance for 2026 sales guidance was pretty solid, 55.5 billion to 56.6 billion. Analysts down under 55 billion. So besides just, a beaten up stock, I think if we had to just try to justify why the stock is higher here, maybe probably because of that solid sales guidance that the company gave.
Yeah, so separate macro tape is still driving the bus. When you're getting big whipsaws in the S&P, overall market sentiment matters. And separate, it's a staple, it's defensive. It's not the kind of stock that, a lot of people are like, "Ooh, yeah, this is going to be my huge growth engine here." Staples are all trading down this morning because we got a risk on market. So I mean, you're in a tape that probably isn't prudent to this too. And I mean, we can say Tyson's is boring, but sometimes, like the best trades, we can take shorts too on stocks. So I don't know. I kind of like it from the short side of $55. We'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
A
Any
lot of other
earnings?
earnings this week. Is there anything else that reported? Like, Plug Power, is
I
there anything that we're
think
really caring
Plug
about
is
here?
tonight. I think Plug
Oh,
is
it's Plug
tonight.
tonight? It was up
Uh,
10%. I just assumed it reported.
Let me
It's up
see. No,
10% ahead of it?
Plug had
Oh, they did have a press
another
release.
press release here. Plug Power announced that expects to generate more than 275 million in liquidity improvement through a combination of asset monetization, release of restricted cash, and reduced maintenance expenses. I do not see the earnings report in this press release, and
Okay.
yeah, it is after the close today.
Yeah, the pre-earnings run-up trades keep working here too. That would just be lucky if you had Plug Power there. But I mean, just looking at the other ones that are reporting this week, like NBIS trading up 5%. Obviously, Momo name SE Limited is on Tuesday. It's trading up 2.5%. On is up 2%. It's trading Wednesday. Again, the overall market's up, so they're all going to be trading higher. But these stocks tend to trade up more, when they have earnings on deck here. So, and we are kind of, I guess, jumping into a little bit of an earnings preview here, so we might as well continue that
Okay.
earnings preview. Like the big names here reporting this week, again, is probably the biggest name reporting this week is honestly probably Cisco, CSCO on Wednesday.
Which is
So
kind of wild. Kind of says a lot about the breadth of the earnings season
we're
this
coming
week.
out of we're coming out of the meat
Yeah.
of earnings
Yep.
season. You're kind of getting into the leftovers now. So we've had the Thanksgiving dinner, obviously, and now we've had dessert with all those companies reporting last week. Now we're just getting into like a little leftovers, bedtime snack, from the meal here. So you got the highlights this week, I would say for me, are going to be Cisco, on NBIS, SE
Yep.
Limited's always interesting because it gets some wicked moves. House of Mouse reports Thursday. Disney, it'll be
Yep.
interesting what they have to
Yep.
say. Applied Materials is on Thursday. Ross Store, does anybody care? Williams Sonoma, does anybody care? Macy's. We start getting into retail earnings season, but
We
does
start
anybody
getting into
really care that
retail.
much?
Yep.
JD.com is scheduled to report, but then I get those, they sometimes mess those China dates up on the Chinese stocks there. QUBT's on Friday. RGTI is tonight. That's interesting.
RGT, yep.
Yeah, and it just bounced back, obviously. And, IONQ had its earnings last week, I believe it was, if I'm going from my memory. This serves me
Let
well.
me look.
Yeah.
Pull up the chart here on
We just kind of rallied in
RGTI.
RGTI too. I think RGTI, again, it's hard on these companies because they don't have a lot of numbers here at all here. They're all on story and hype. What is said on the conference call? Do you have the hopes of some contracts coming? There's lots of other things. Oh, CoreWeave. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, chat.
CoreWeave? Let me see.
Yeah. How do we miss CoreWeave? CoreWeave's going to report here.
CoreWeave is today after
Yeah,
close.
that's brutal of us. Actually, I have it written here. I just glossed over it. CoreWeave's on there. So thank you very much here, chat. CoreWeave obviously reporting here this week too. Tonight. CoreWeave is reporting tonight. Again, earnings run up trade works for this one well too, up 5% here. So if you're just buying these stocks blindly and saying, hey, it's probably going to be some interest ahead. Why does the earnings run up trade work? Stop for a minute, just for a minute here, and just say it works for two main reasons. One, speculation, people getting excited about the earnings report, media, actually three. I'm going to say, one is first, the media likes to talk about these stocks because they're main companies coming up. We're talking about them. CNBC is going to talk about them, because there's, not that many companies, even on the ones that, aren't on, when you're on 1,000 companies reporting this week, those ones are going to get highlights in media. So that gets people thinking about it. And they're like, ooh, I like that company. I want to buy that. So it gets speculation going as well. And the third one is, if you are short these names, and there is people who are short CoreWeaves and RGTIs and Nebiuses, you don't often want to go through earnings reports short. So there's that potential to cover ahead of it. And that's what we try to do on the Stock Trader Network over in our think tank at STN, is we're trying to extract that alpha from the positive expectation of the run-up ahead of the report. And I've been doing this strategy for 15 years, and it's one of my best strategies that I've ever used. And it continues to work. And it continues to work for those reasons. So, just being long stocks ahead of reports, we typically get long. We start looking a week ahead, and then we start trading them off in a week ahead if they're big names. But, sometimes just a couple days ahead. But definitely the day before, you often see some big moves. It doesn't work 100% of the time. Again, if something worked 100% of the time, we'd all be the richest people in the world. But if it works 55% of the time, it's a huge edge. If it works 60% of the time, that's an unbelievable edge. So just keep that in mind, being long stocks ahead of reports. So if we're just looking this morning, obviously CoreWeave reporting tonight, it's up. We get lucky with Plug Power, but RGTI reporting, it's up. Nebius is up. Again, the overall market's up. So, obviously most stocks are up, but these stocks are up a lot more than the overall market. You can say the beta's higher, but the beta's not higher on a Cisco. It's actually lower, and it's up more than the market right now. So this is just the overall strategies that we're outlining for you guys.
Dennis, how much time would you say that we spend doing homework in the STN room?
Most of the time. So most of the time, what the STN room is, and it's at stocktradernetwork.com, is a think tank. We have some great traders in there, and we're trying to think of ideas of where this market is going and just making observations. Sometimes, we give some trade alerts. Sometimes, we give some, like handouts, like where this looks like a pretty clean setup here. But for the most of part of it, it's more about getting our brains together, thinking and getting ahead of it. That's why I was very clear on 9:40 when I left. I'm like, this dip looks like it's starting to get bought already. And it did leak after that for a couple hours, but then it came in hard. So, just trying to have clarity here. I have 26 years of professional trading experience here. Not that I've seen every market. They're always changing. It's dynamic, but I've seen a lot of different types of markets. So I'm probably going to be quicker to identify turns. I would say for my own day trading, I'm probably more a turn trader than anything. Like I like trading headlines. I like trading news. I like trading, arbitrage. And, I did some market making back in the day. But I like trading turns too. And I'm, obviously, we have other traders in there too, other prop traders too. So, there's a good group where we're trying to get together and identify that stuff. So, but either way, there's just opportunities when you put more brains together. So more eyeballs too, because something I might not be seeing, somebody else might be seeing. It's why we did the show. It's why we started doing the show 12 years ago too, because the pre-market prep chat room here gives us lots of ideas too. They say, hey, check this out. Hey, look at this. So keep in mind. But this strategy, and people, I don't want to confuse anybody. This is not a take a company through earnings strategy. This
Yeah.
is being long ahead of the report and selling it right before it reports, or selling
Mhm.
it, or potentially maybe you're selling it at the open. But it's not the strategy to take all these stocks long into the reports. And contrary, we're talking about shorting all the stocks last week into the actual reports back on Thursday
Sure.
night. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's different strategies. This strategy is just about being long ahead of the report and selling it before it actually reports, so you don't get that uncertainty of the earnings report itself.
And a lot of the homework that we're doing is like drilling it into your head. Like you said something last week or a couple weeks ago, Dennis, where you're like, I'm going through this earnings list that we have for the afternoon because I want to become familiar with it. So that it's not that Dennis is going to trade all of these earnings names necessarily, but he wants to be aware that they're happening. If there is another stock that starts moving because one of his peers had an earnings report, he wants to be able to identify that really quickly and go, okay, at least this is accounted for. I know why. I think I have an idea why this is moving. This isn't catching me totally off guard here out of left field.
They want people talking about Palantir still too here in the chat, and this stock rebounded significantly too. And this is the retail darlings of retail darlings. So I mean, when you
Yeah,
see,
absolutely.
you can use this one as your main indicator there, maybe. And if we look to the Friday trading action, it opened, it ran up a little bit, and then it dipped. But again, the noon turn heavy here on this name. It actually led it a little bit. It started turning a little bit before 12 o'clock, and then went from like 169 up to 178 close, and continues to build on 184. People have been calling it in the media the Michael Burry top. We're seeing, that he actually bought puts on this, and this is why the stock went down. The stock went down, folks, because it was just overbought. Stock also went down. It reported earnings. It went down ahead of the earnings, or went down right after the earnings, because it's like once the catalyst is over, it's not that exciting anymore. So I don't think at all that Palantir has been tanking because Michael Burry bought puts. Michael Burry was bearish the market 2 years ago. If we were all just following Michael Burry, we'd be losing a hell of a lot of money. He said sell 2 years ago. Yes, he did awesome during obviously the financial crisis there, calling a lot of that. Michael Burry, not to say that he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's been bearish for a while here, folks. He's been bearish stocks for a while. He hasn't owned any stocks. He had Estee Lauder, which was a good call. That stock went up significantly here. But I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't think everybody, it's not like he's Warren Buffett, where people are like really, following him as closely as you think they are. So the media grabbed that and ran with that because we coincided with, this Michael Burry buying puts on Palantir and buying puts on Nvidia, and being bearish the market. He's been bearish for a long time. So I think we're giving Michael Burry a hell of a lot more credit than he deserves, actually, because the last 2 years he's been dead wrong.
Nice little rant there, Triple D. I like that
Sorry,
one.
Michael Burry. This episode is not brought to you by Michael Burry.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't
So
always need to have a sponsor.
no. Other news, Brentster, we should go to
Yeah,
this MTSR drama here,
let's do it.
which we haven't covered.
Great
So give us the
way to
details
describe
for
it
this
too.
morning.
Yeah, okay. So let me pull up the chart here real quick, and then I will grab the details. There was a press release, I believe it was from Pfizer. Actually, maybe it wasn't for Pfizer.
It was from
Friday,
NVO that
l-
they dropped their bid.
late
So
late Friday, I have a press release here from Pfizer. Pfizer and Metsera enter into merger agreement amendment, revised transaction values Metsera at up to 86.25 per share. And so that you're saying that happened after NVO pulled its bid?
I think NVO pulled it this morning. I saw it going around. So did
Okay, so
NVO?
that would make sense. Yeah, so this and again, that release from Pfizer and Metsera was very late on Friday night, like 9:30 p.m. I don't know
Yeah.
why they chose to put it out so late, but okay, so that would make sense that Novo would pull their bid after we heard this thing
So the
about
bidding
Pfizer
war is
confirming.
officially over here. We kept
It
thinking we were
seems
going to
like
get
it.
more. The stock was at $35. It went to 50, getting taken over. And then NVO came in and started saying, no, we want to take this company over. And, the stock started popping. People speculating they're going to go back and forth. And eventually it's going to go off the board at $100. Well, it looks like it's not. It's back down significantly here this morning as NVO. The bidding war appears to be over. Pfizer appears to have won. And if you're looking, we're down 15% because the bidding war is over here. So I don't know if we have what the final price was going to be and what the
I
details was.
have, yeah, so it says the bid consists of 65.60 per share in cash and a contingent value right entitling shareholders to an additional 20.65 per share in cash, assuming those are related to like milestones, whether
Yeah.
business milestones or pharmaceutical drug related milestones.
So bottom line, you get a 65.60 cash. That might be all you get, but you also have the potential to get more. So you got like right now $70 is trading with like a $4.50 call option to pick up another $20 if they hit all their milestones. We've seen deals structured like this a lot lately in pharmaceuticals. So where they're giving a price, they're giving a deal, and then they're giving milestones. And if they hit those milestones after the deal, if they go through, the shareholders can get rewarded with more money. So I mean, it's kind of a smart way to structure the deals where they're giving them a good price, but hey, if you hit milestones, we can participate a little bit afterwards too. So that's why Metsura is trading above its 65.60 cash takeout price. But again, it's trading down here this morning. So if you're saying, oh yeah, it's going off at $85, it's not. They have to hit all those milestones to get that money. So that's why I think at this point in time, with the bidding war being over, investors are selling as opposed to like buying. And it's not saying NVO can't come back. They always can come back. And you're probably going to see this thing trade above 65.60 because there's always that possibility. And the milestones are there too. So I don't think this is going to trade down like the price of 65.60. I'm kind of surprised actually it's trading as low as it is because there is the milestones and that potential. But I think, this is settling in where it wants to be, which looks around $70. People who are buying this at $89 on Friday night are very much disappointed.
A couple other big winners, big movers, not like Metsura was very big winner or anything, but a couple other big movers that you had on your radar at least. GLTO was one that you were looking at. Pull up the chart on
Yeah.
that one.
Good
Stock
mover of the day.
trading up. What's this one trading up? $13 for like a $5 stock.
255%.
Woo!
So this stock, and I don't know if it reverse split or whatever, because I don't follow this story whatsoever. I've seen the stock hit the filter before, but I've never looked into details of it. So it closed back, and if somebody knows the details in pre-market prep chat, please let us know. But back on October the 6th, the stock closed to $4, and then it ran to $31 the next day. I'm assuming that was a reverse split, but I'm
I
not
don't think
100%
so.
certain that was a reverse split.
I
I'm just
think
looking
this
at the
is
chart. It looks reverse splitty.
yeah. I think this
Just
is
looking at the
just a
chart.
I think this just might be a good old fashioned low float name.
And yeah, and now, so we get this news here today. So the stock
The-
leaks all the way back down to $5 here again. And now we rip, and we were up over 26 this morning here. So these are like, you get these pops, man, on these low float names. They're usually, people are going to get mad at me on this because they love having the stocks go from 5 to 15 to 150. More often than not, the stocks go from 5 to 25, eventually go back to 5. So they're usually more selling opportunities than they are buying opportunities. Maybe this is going to be the different one. Maybe this is going to be the one that goes, the retail's going to grab it. It's going to be the GameStop and it's going to just go nuts here. But often, especially in the market that we've been in the entire year, which has been the fade market, there's opportunities here for more of a selling opportunity than there is a buying opportunity. Stock
So,
coming in significantly here from where it was even
yep.
overnight when it hit over $28.
Did you just do that, Dennis? I think you just started some of the selling in that stock. So the news.
If you're looking at the FINRA prints, there's our old trades hitting the tape. The stock is pretty
Oh,
stable here at 17.72. Is not
okay.
trading $8. Is not trading at $9. Is not trading at $25. All of a sudden, at 13. We're getting the FINRA trade dump here. What are those? Those are your overnight trades from your retail brokers that are just getting dumped onto the tape here right now. It's annoying that they do it. They usually do it at 8 a.m. They're doing it really late here on this stock here. But it's annoying that they're getting there. But if you want the stable chart here, you can see it here, Brentster, which is actually really nice. You're not seeing all those printed trades. I see all those trades that you were looking at, though. A lot of those trades
Yeah.
occurred earlier. So if you're seeing
Okay,
your
gotcha.
stock go like this, is not doing that right now.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
1750 and fairly stable here right now. Although trading actively, but not trading down to 12 up to 25. You can't make the money doing that. It can't just, oh, it's 12. Somebody just bought 25. Those are old trades from last night that were occurred when it was trading. They're just hitting the tape late.
So, like from a news perspective, what happens with a lot of these low float names, and I'm looking right now, about 1.3 million shares in GLTO's float. So what happens with a lot of these low float names is traders will use quote news to say like, oh yeah, look, there was a news item today. The stock is moving on the news item. So that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind if you are trading these low float names, that they can be pushed around very easily. That's the whole thing. That being said, the news for GLTO here this morning, they announced the acquisition of Demora Therapeutics. An acquisition should be like negative for shareholders, right? Companies are using a lot of cash to do acquisition or financing things a lot of times. Not the case here, because with this acquisition, the company got a bunch of cash. So I think if we had to try to force the price action into this news item,
Yep.
it probably because the company got a bunch of cash with this deal.
$285 million worth of financing here,
A
or
lot of
funding
money,
now.
right?
So
Especially
that's a lot of money
for,
for them.
for
So that's
exactly,
why it's popping
exactly.
up here too. So
Yep.
there is a fundamental catalyst for the pop. This isn't just all off the memesters going. So that's one thing going. But I just again reiterate that a lot of these, just other things being equal, this has more been the sell the rip market than it has the buy the rip market. And that's just eternal. Like if you're constantly selling dips and buying rips, you're probably getting chopped up. If you're doing the opposite, it's worked really well in 2025. That's buying dips, selling rips, shorting rips, buying dips. Keep that in mind. I know I sound like a broken record here sometimes. Why do we repeat ourselves often? Because it works. We're repeating what works. That's what we're doing.
We do have Luke in the background. He just joined. I texted with him. He is, let's see if he's ready. He looks like he's not quite ready.
He looks like he's in
He's
the
ready.
library. Oh,
He's
he's got the
ready.
thumbs up, and he looks like he's
Luke's
in the
ready.
library. He's in
All
the
right,
library.
let's go get him.
What's up, guys?
Luke Jacobe, make libraries great again here. He's sitting in the library studying his books behind him. I love it. Because the library, it's been so, like years and years, like the poor libraries don't get the action they used to, since obviously everything's just on the internet now here. But make libraries great again. What is the best book sitting behind you?
Wait, I've got something even more relevant than that, Dennis.
Okay.
Right here, Brent Slava will know what this is as a Michigander, if I can get it right. This boat.
Is it the Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
I love
Guess what today is.
I love this song.
I
love the story. Obviously, we don't love that everybody died, but it's such a cool story.
Yeah, but today's the 50th anniversary.
Is it?
Wow, Luke, great
I didn't even realize that until I saw it in my own background, and I'm like, is that November?
Oh my gosh. The Witch of November comes stealing. We're going to all have to listen to Gordon Lightfoot later.
Yeah. Unbelievable that Gordon Lightfoot put that song together a year later, and that was just just tells the story so well there. Me and my 8-year-old daughter is fascinated with this story, and we watched the documentary multiple times. They're just going through how the storm came, they went further north, and they just clipped an uncharted reef is what they happened. They clipped an uncharted reef because there was 30-foot waves coming at them. And if you think about a 700 or 800 foot boat, with 30-foot waves going like this. So, when the trough comes and the waves go down, even though, it's like 25 feet below, bottom hits, and then she snapped it in half, and that was it. But unbelievable, the story. So if you ever want to watch a documentary on that, it's cool. That is an awesome picture of the Edmund Fitzgerald, Luke.
Yes. I like it. You're getting lots of love in the chat, Luke.
They miss you.
They of course they miss you. How you been, Luke?
I miss you guys even more, I would say. How's that?
How's that for a response?
Love having you on. Your Robinhood stock continues to just go nuts. I mean, Luke gave me this one a year and a half ago at $15. He's basically retired off of this now.
he's just literally cracking up all the way to the bank. Just like, wow, it's a good story.
He said, if I own any stock, he said to me on the phone, he's like, pick one. He's like, it would be Robinhood that I would hold. This is like $15 at the time. I just took all my money and put it in Robinhood. I could be retired like Luke Jacobe is here now.
Just hanging out,
still holding it?
Hanging out in your library.
I just watch the chart all day. I'm not even logged into my brokerage account. I just thought,
Are you still holding?
Yeah, it's still 100% long.
You're like a hodler.
Wow.
He doesn't. He gets convicted, and he's like little Warren Buffett right there. And maybe you know what, Luke? Maybe you could actually run Berkshire Hathaway. Maybe Hot Stocks Luke should actually give Warren a call, and we could have him because he's a hodler like that too. Like I have like paper hands. I'm in and out, trading in and out, in and out. He's got the diamond hands, and he picks great stocks. Look at him right there. He's just ready. He got those diamond hands. We're gonna get another pick stock pick from you yet here today, but we got to warm it up there. So,
all right, we'll warm it up.
Do you want to be the new Warren Buffett?
Yeah, I'm ready. Put me,
Put me in,
billion
coach.
or whatever. Isn't that fun? Yeah, no. Well, you know what's crazy? I think about these mega funds is like, how do you do anything except for own the whole market? It's like I feel like so many of these managers that we get all excited about and interested in, and not necessarily talking about Buffett, but it's like they get so much notoriety that their funds become so big, and then they just own the whole market, and then they make a trade, and we all think it's so exciting and follow them into it, but they're just owning the whole market because they basically have to as a rule. There's not necessarily anything super special there.
Yeah, I mean, once you get big enough, you own the whole market. That little trade that you made probably isn't doing a big difference in your overall account size, but it makes everybody get excited. They're like, "Ooh, Buffett got a new position. Ooh, Burry went short
exactly.
Palantir."
Yeah, come on.
It gives us something to talk about. That's what we need. Everybody wants something to talk about, and we got something to talk about there, so it's exciting. So that's where we get. So, what's in the Luke Jacobe portfolio besides Robinhood? Is there anything else like that you've been holding on to? What else are you hodling over
there? Some of the boring ones, I would say.
Boring pays the bills.
Boring pays the bills. Like I've had a very large gold position for about the past 18 months.
Well, that's amazing too.
Great. A lot of the big tech stocks, like a Netflix and Meta are the two. I've definitely had some duds as well.
We all do.
Like
what's your dud? What's been your biggest dud? The one that just didn't work
out.
Ford
Motor Company is horrible.
Ford, it's coming back though. They're coming back. I have hopes for your Ford position.
Cautiously optimistic. Not a Netflix, not a Robinhood.
You didn't convince them, Dennis, unfortunately.
Yeah. PayPal is another one that's been horrible.
Oh, yeah, that's been a dog. I don't know if I have as much hope for PayPal.
You know what stock I would love for them to figure out, not even for my benefit, but for their own? Snap.
Snap? Why do you say that?
The worst thing ever.
Like Snapchat is the worst thing ever, or the stock? Yeah,
the stock.
They've just never really figured out how to monetize it well. Like, they have so many users, and they just never really figure out monetization on this thing. It never makes really any money.
65% of age 13 to 25 use Snapchat monthly.
How is that not like?
And it's an $8. It's unbelievable.
That should be.
There's that many users on there, but they just can't find the way. They might, you know what? That might be prime for activism. Luke, get in there. Get in there. You could be the activist in here and turn this company around.
The whole pre-market prep crew. Yeah, we're going into Snap.
We're going into Snapchat hard. We're going to do some activism in here and figure out, because Luke could monetize this. You could tell him how to do this and figure this out.
You think
how many viewers do we have on a given day, Dennis?
On our show?
Yeah.
We typically get about 5,000 across all medium.
Okay, that's great. So we could terminate the entire Snapchat team, drop all 5,000 pre-market prep listeners in there.
We have 5,000 employees.
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that could work. Are you long? Are you long Snapchat? You don't like it? Are you still long?
No, it's like one of those stocks I watch every quarter, and I want to be long it, if that makes sense.
And then it goes up when they announce, and then it goes back down always. This is what Snapchat does. It just
yes. It always gaps up like 20% in the PM session, and then by open it's up 3%, and then the next day it's down 7%.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. So you're
like every quarter.
Do you think this is one eventually you will buy? Do you think you just won't be able to stop yourself, and eventually I'm going to go all in?
There's no way that this isn't a stock that's like a 10 bagger once they can figure it out. Just with the count of users that they have, unless they lose the users or it's a fad or something.
That's always
one of those ones that
new coming out.
They're going to figure it out. It'll gap the 20% in the PM, keep going in the AM because the market believes it, and it should be off to the races.
I mean, did X figure it out? Did Twitter figure it out?
I don't think so.
I don't know that it's like a foregone conclusion that, and I know what you're saying, but I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion that they're gonna figure it out. Unfortunately, I think I'm on the same page with you though. I think it would be better if they figured it out.
Yeah,
but I don't know if they're gonna.
They might not.
What about these other social media stocks though? And again, TikTok's not public, but how much has TikTok hurt Snap? How much has it hurt some of these other names here, because everybody, like I know my wife, is like on TikTok constantly here. Has it done damage to the user base here? Is it all about TikTok here? I mean, it's different.
No, I mean, I would definitely
but
I would definitely think it has stolen, attention, energy. What's the word? Share of voice out of that audience.
Like I just
think this trade, Dennis. This is another good one for you.
Give it to me.
Look at this. Silver bar.
Gold.
It's on his desk.
Robin Hood.
It's just waiting on his desk.
He's got a silver bar sitting right here. Are you into silver? Is this it? Silver the new gold?
This is this has been a great trade. I had to pay like 8% above the spot price in order to buy this, and it's still a great trade right now.
Yeah, so because you want. Where did you buy? Did you go Costco and buy that?
No, on AppMex, the big online metals one. And they dropped it off at my doorstep without anybody signing for it too, which I thought was suspect.
Imagine like buying gold bars, they just drop off on your gold stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to get in the
just
mail,
got home and it was there.
Well, you want to know how much that weighs? How much does that silver bar weigh?
100 ounces.
It's 100 ounces.
So
That's that just sits on your desk. It's like your paperweight right there.
It's a conversation piece.
Look, you started this conversation. So do you have a trade for us in silver, Luke? Is that what this is building to?
I wish. My trade for you all is in mortgages.
Okay.
With did y'all see the news over the weekend about the 50-year mortgage?
Yes.
Tell us. I didn't see it.
Say it, yeah.
We're getting 50-year mortgages.
Trump.
People are going to buy houses. Home prices are going to go up. The home builders will see a boon out of this. Guess who got this 50-year mortgage cooking, Brent Slava? Michigander.
I mean, is it Dan?
Bill Pulte.
Pulte.
Oh,
okay.
Pulte.
Good
Yep.
question. Yeah.
And he's good friends with obviously President Trump, so that doesn't hurt.
Exactly. So it came out this weekend that we're expected to get 50-year mortgages coming to the USA. The number of people who are going to be able to afford homes when that amortization period is about 60% longer, plus people who want to upgrade their homes because their payments are going down are going to be significant. I think that there is going to be a boon in mortgages once that gets cooking. The expectation I would have is that mortgage companies make the same amount of money per origination. And so I think that these mortgage stocks have been depressed for some time now, as rates have been higher. And now that we've got the advent of the 50-year mortgage, plus we're going to see rates continue to come down, especially once Jay Powell gets out of there.
Yeah.
I love me some mortgage stocks for the next 12, 18 months here.
What's your favorite one?
Yeah.
United Wholesale. That's like the 5-bagger shot, I think.
Your initial thought was, and I'm pulling up the chart here in a sec. Your initial thought was to mention the home builders, but you ultimately you like how some of these mortgage players are positioned a little better than the home builders. Yeah, like foreign investment.
Yeah, for sure.
What about Rocket? What about Rocket?
Rocket's in there for sure as well.
But you think maybe UWMC was just maybe like a little more beaten up than a Rocket?
Yeah, it's trading at almost like cash and cash it produces.
7.5% dividend on UWMC too right now. It's got a huge divvy.
Yeah.
So it's trading literally like a cash cow here. But if you're right, and if we actually do get these 50-year mortgages coming in, you got to think that's like, again, this is good long term that everybody's going to have 50 and never be able to pay off their homes. No, but, short term, I mean, and thinking about a lot more money coming into the markets and doing a lot of other things. So,
yeah.
All right.
UWMC, is that your pick of the day? Is that the pick you're
That's my pick of the day.
I like
UWMC. You heard it here now. Luke Jacobe.
Like
awesome. Okay, Luke, we're running out against the clock here. We want to thank you so much.
All right, listen to your Gordon Lightfoot today.
Good call. Good reminder.
Gordon Lightfoot. Put the Gordon Lightfoot on. We'll listen to that over in our chat room here. We're going to look at UWMC here too because I like that idea as well. I own some Rocket, but maybe I'm going to double down and own some UWMC too. I like that divvy. Thanks, Luke. You've been great to us for so long. Appreciate it. We want to get you on here more. The chat went nuts when you popped on. They really missed you.
Oh, I love it. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
later,
Luke.
Luke. Thank you. Later.
Thanks.
All right, Triple D. Kind of cool having a guest.
I like that idea too. He comes in,
thought
you
you
know what?
would.
Because
I
his
thought you
time
would.
frame is so much longer. I mean, I need to talk to people like Luke more often because his time frame is so much longer. I get caught in the trade-itis or whatever you want to call it, where I'm just like in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And you know, sometimes I miss those big meat trades there. You know, like the Robinhood. When he literally told me on the phone, and I'm not joking, he told me, and I was like, he's like, "What stock you like?" I asked him, "What stock you like long term?" And this was in 2020. I think it was the middle of 2024. And he's like, if I owned anything long term, it'd be Robinhood. Here we are, you know, a year and a half later, and the stock has went up almost tenfold. Like, so he finds these good ones, and UWMC is his pick. So I'm going to give him a lot more love than I gave to Michael Burry. So UWMC, writing it down.
All right, pre-market prep, we are going to go over to our STN room, stocktradernetwork.com. Join us over there if you want to get ready for the open. Triple D and I do a closing bell show, 3:30 to 5 p.m. each day, where I'm breaking news in real time. I'm giving real-time analysis. Dennis joins in there with some real-time analysis, and he's putting on trades just before the close. Join us over there a little bit later. We're going to jump over there right now. Thanks for tuning in to Pre-Market Prep this morning, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.